and compliments of the season, you're welcome to the most entertaining and informative transport talk show on TV, Lamata Half Hour. My name is Kate Harmony, and like we always say, a woman is never complete without her man. And Craig is here with me.
I think I like that.
Yeah.
A woman is never complete without a man. So I'm the man.
Yes, you're
and
the
you're
man.
the lady.
Yes.
The only lady in the house.
Exactly. And you'll be telling us what the journey will be like.
All
today.
right, I will. Well, viewers, it's a pleasant evening to you out there, like she rightly said. And it's indeed our joy to welcome you on today's edition of the program, Lamata Half Hour. Today, we're going to take a different perspective to it. And that is to tell you that, like we used to do, we bring you a guest, and we have a guest in the house. And aside that, we're also going to give you the opportunity, like we've always been doing, and you say it's quite a long time, for you to call in today to actually ask questions from our guest. And all of these elements, Kate, I'm correct, will combine together to make it something a wow on the program this evening, and there's a promise. So why not just sit back? But then we need to tell them that we're going to look at Lamata's transport enhancement projects, how it's been funded. Someone is really responsible and is available to really give us details of how that such projects this far are funded, right? Of course. They are funded and they must be funded. We'll be back after this time out.
Basically, what Lamata does is to coordinate public transportation in Lagos State, and we came up with a transport master plan.
Developed together with the World Bank, the objective of this plan is finding long-lasting solutions for the problem of transportation in Lagos. Currently under its first steps of development, the plan has already proven itself a big success, dramatically increasing the connectivity in a city in continuous expansion and enjoying an unparalleled demographic and economic growth.
Our responsibility is to ensure that we provide the necessary infrastructure to meet the growth, to improve the quality of life, to improve the standard of living, and to make Lagos a vibrant and livable city in years to come.
Lamata, think transport.
Welcome back. Now the news on Lamata Half Hour. Every Nigerian must know their HIV/AIDS status as a way of checking the prevalence of a disease whose cure is yet to be found. According to a medical practitioner, Dr. Mike Debo, migrant workers need to practice abstinence, and where it is not possible, should protect themselves against sexually transmitted diseases, STDs. Dr. Debo, who works for a non-governmental organization, Hope Worldwide Nigeria, spoke at a health, safety, and environmental seminar organized by the Lagos Metropolitan Area Transport Authority, Lamata, for workers of China Civil Engineering Construction Corporation, CCECC, handling the construction of the Mile 12 to Ikorodu Bus Rapid Transit BRT system. Dr. Debo told the workers that the most common ways of contracting HIV was through exchange of fluids, particularly through unprotected sex or blood transfusion, and through the use of unsterilized sharp objects. He therefore stressed the need for periodic screening for HIV by the workers to know their HIV status, with a view to assessing treatment, which is offered free at all government hospitals.
I know everybody when they hear the saying, say prevention better pass cure. Abi? In everything, what would they do for life? If you prevent them, it is cheaper. The test now free. You don't need to pay for the test. For every general hospital in Lagos State, everywhere, if you go for a Ikorodu General Hospital, now free.
In his speech, the Deputy Director Safeguard Lamata, Professor Lukao Taiwo, said the seminar was organized to educate the workers on how to care for themselves and things they need to do to keep themselves healthy. As a responsible organization, he said Lamata was committed to the well-being of its contractors and their workers and will continue to promote healthy living among them. The Lagos State government has kept faith with tradition during the celebration of the just concluded Ramadan fast by offering a free bus ride last Friday to ease movement during the Eid al-Fitr. The free bus ride enabled Muslim faithfuls have easy access to different praying centers across the state. The free bus service, which began in 2008, had helped in reducing congestion and accidents on the roads during festive periods, and services run from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. One of the riders, Mr. Olalekan Ahmed, praised the Lagos State government for sustaining the free bus ride, which began some 5 years ago. He, however, appealed to the state government to save the BRT concept from being extinct, saying the BRT buses, as they are presently, no longer represent the original vision of the state government. Another rider, Alhaja Abibat Shekuni, said though the buses on the road for the free bus ride were few, but nonetheless thanked the state government for its gesture and called for the extension of BRT to other areas of the state so that traffic congestion on the roads could be reduced drastically. She expressed the hope that the government will assist the operator of the BRT system to refleet, repair buses in operation, as well as repair bad portions of the BRT corridor. Meanwhile, repairs on the BRT buses continued during the Eid al-Fitr break as the operator's revamp program for the buses moves on. The operator had promised to add 50 new buses before the end of the third quarter and repair 100 serviceable buses. It is expected that before long, the BRT system will be brought back to its original design. That's it on the news. We'll take another break. We'll be right back.
Yes, our guest for today is someone you love to meet. He has served in different esteemed organizations as finance controller. He is currently the Director of Finance, Lagos Metropolitan Area Transport Authority. I'm sure he knows his onions. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Mr. Iyola Adeboye. You're welcome to the Lamata Half Hour, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening. I'm very well, thank you. Yeah.
A pleasure to have you join us, sir. You're most welcome on board, sir. Well, Kate, I'm sure that it's a pleasure to have a man who's an accomplished banker, a professional, an expert, a specialist. Okay, don't let me use the word specialized. A specialist in his special calling, with integrity and honor. That's what banking is all about.
Yes.
But yet the man is finding himself, sustaining, committing himself reliably to another transport plan, which is changing the face of transportation in Lagos. Dynamics, that's just the word. Well, sir, you were a banker for many years, but today you are managing the finances of a transport authority as Lamata, an international organization or agency. Now tell us, how has the experience been like? You finding yourself in the saddle?
Well, thank you very much. To start with, I will say that it's been stimulating, exciting, and highly motivating. Well, I was a banker, but prior to that time, I worked in various sectors of the economy. Okay. And by the way, like you said, I'm a trained accountant. And you see, by nature of our training as an accountant, you are being trained to fit into any sector, any industry you find yourself. Not only to work as an accountant or as a chief accountant, but to assume higher responsibilities. And if you look at most CEOs all over the world, you discover that statistically about 70% of them are qualified accountants. That tells you how versatile
the accountants are.
Having said that, and with my background, when I now find myself working as the Director of Finance in Lamata, I find myself my natural habitat.
Wow. Natural habitat. Honestly, I think I like that. I like that.
And
natural habitat.
As our date, it has been very, very exciting, like I said. We started Lamata around 2003. It's a World Bank funded project. And you see, the first thing for the project to take off is to have an effective finance department.
Okay.
And that was when I was brought here along with my colleagues. And you see, as an accountant, what we normally do when we find ourselves in any new organization is to appraise the objectives of that organization, to look at the goal and, of course, the aspirations.
Okay.
And we design the financial systems to achieve those goals, aspirations, and objectives.
Okay.
And, of course, that is what we did when we started.
So, sir, we of course we know that transport projects always require huge budgets and are usually capital intensive. We're wondering, how do you source funds for all these projects that Lamata embark on? Yeah.
Well, that's a nice one.
A nice one indeed.
Yeah, that's why
very,
you're here.
very tough, I must confess.
Okay.
Because when you look at the state of our infrastructures in the country, there is a lot to achieve. But
Okay.
funding will always be constraints. With us in Lamata, we have federal sources of funding. The major source is from Lagos State government, from their annual budgetary allocation.
Okay.
And for the authority, we get more than 70% of our funding from Lagos State budgetary allocation every year.
Oh.
The other 30% we get from the World Bank and some other multilateral agencies.
Okay.
Agency, France Agency for Development, they also contribute to source of our funding. And in addition to that, we also generate part of our funding internally. I think about 3% of that from recovery of service charges, and of course from franchise fee, from all those charging or the users from all those infrastructures we provide. But the bulk of our funding is from Lagos State government, which is about 70%. In fact, the parts that we source from the World Bank, which is about 25%, is equally being repaid by the Lagos State government. So technically speaking, you now say that 95% of our fund is from
the state government, because they have to pay back.
They have to pay the
some
World
of
Bank
those.
back.
Okay,
Yes.
okay.
Wow.
We only generate between 3 to 5% of the remaining budget.
Okay, so that being it, can you recall any of the funding challenges? Because there is no way you will not have challenges in the course of having to seek for fund to really implement this project. What challenges have you at one time or the other? You must have some challenges in this regard.
Funding challenge will always be there because the resources are very limited.
Okay.
Vis-a-vis what the government want to achieve. For instance, as we are today, we are constructing the blue line between Ido to Okokomaiko. On our blueprint, as I speak, we have 7 various lines we intend to embark upon. But because of funding constraints, we have to face them. And we have to start on one of the corridors. That's the
blue line corridor.
Which costs multi-billions dollars. Now, what the state government has done is to look at those projects and prioritize them.
Which is very essential, anyway.
Yeah, and prioritize them. And within those projects that have been prioritized, we still have to face the one we are executing now over a period of time. For instance, the blue line, we started for the past 4 years. We're on the 3rd phase. And we still have quite a number of phases to go. So from time to time, there will always be funding constraints. But one good thing about Lagos State government is the fact that once you start a project, you have to complete it.
You must complete
it. You may face it over a period of time, but it has to be completed. And I'm happy to inform you this evening that we've never had any case of abandoned project or maybe any project we have stopped maybe as a sort of funding constraint.
The Mile 12 to Ikorodu is also part of what Lamata is also engaged in presently.
Yes.
Is it part of all of this arrangement?
You are quite right. The Mile 12 to Ikorodu, which is an extension of the existing BRT. You know, our first BRT is between
Mile 12 to CMS. That's right.
Because of the achievements of that project and the benefits to the people of the state, we had to extend it to Ikorodu town. And the Lagos State government, again in collaboration with the World Bank and the Friends Agency Development Agency, we embarked upon the extension of existing BRT from Mile 12 to Ikorodu. And we started, I think, about 2 years ago. The first phase of LUTP ended in 2011.
Wow.
Before we conclude the first phase of Lagos Urban Transport Project, we've started working on the second
On all of
phase.
this. Okay, let's take a break at this point,
Okay.
so that you'll be able to give us more details on what we have. We must take this break at this point. We'll be right back after this time out.
What's your uncle? That phone ain't cheap. Say me na Maryland we dey go.
Yes, care. But I be out to go take.
That's one cost o. Ticket na 270 naira to Mojota.
That number of people are not sharp. With my new Lagos Connect card, now as little as 25 naira we go pay. Lagos Connect card, that the new payment method from Lamata for people who sabi better. It's easy to use. Just waka go any BRT or BFS bus stop. Get and load your card with at least 20 naira. Tap your card on the block machine inside the bus where you enter and come out. Or party, BRT or BFS go charge you chicken money when you not go reach normal ticket money.
Wait, make I quickly go top up. Me too, I want sharp like you.
Lamata, think transport.
So, sir, looking back these 10 years, would you say you get value for money on all the projects that Lamata embark on?
My answer to your question will be affirmative, yes.
Wow.
And I have to buttress this.
Yeah.
We've executed quite a number of projects ranging from road rehabilitation, road reconstruction, in Victoria Land, Ijegun, Ikorodu, Ipakodo, and of course, we've intervened in the rehabilitation of jetties.
Okay.
And we came to Ijegun Egba and a few other places. We've also executed the first BRT, which I mentioned earlier, that is from Mile 12 to CMS.
Okay.
In most of these projects, our starting point is usually to ask ourselves, what is the end result of all these projects?
Okay.
And in other words, we look at the efficiency indicators before we start any project.
Okay.
We look at the baseline, which here we call the key performance indicator.
Indicators, yes.
In other words, before we embark on any project, we ask ourselves, what will the people benefit from
this?
Sometimes when you are executing road rehabilitation, you look at the time the commuter will save. By the time you conclude the rehabilitation, you look at the money they will save. You look at the accident rate, whether it will decrease or increase. All this we fed into our database.
Okay.
And by the time any project is completed, we now go back to the road to measure, to re-evaluate those indicators.
Okay.
We now compare them with those ones we've set before the projects were executed. In this instance, talking about our Lagos Urban Project Phase 1, which we've executed for so many years, we have all those indices. When we study the baseline, when we embarked on the baseline studies, by the time we completed, honestly, we exceeded all the indices.
Wow.
For instance, where we thought, for instance, where we thought that the time to be saved by a commuter will be probably about 25%, we ended up achieving between 30 to 33% saving. And of course, in some other areas where we thought that probably the commuters will save about 20% of what they spend on transportation. Okay. We discovered that by the time we completed those projects, in most places they've saved up to 30 to 40%.
Sir, I must take some calls before you go, at least for us to have a feedback from our viewers. Well, viewers, the number to call is 01-773-0584 so that you can actually talk to our guest. The number again is 01-773-0584. But sir, let's just quickly take you through this while the calls comes in. No doubt we've talked about the Blue Line, and of course the Mile 12 Ikorodu Town is another. And we know that this project definitely will affect the lives of the people as it's already doing. Right. But the costs are no doubt huge if we have to look at all of these. Can you give us an idea of how much this project's cost and how much has been spent? But that's not after I take this call. Hello. Hello. Yes, good evening. Your name, please. Akim from Folagro. Okay, sir, your question.
Yeah, okay. Thank you for the project and the very knowledgeable one. But what is Lamata doing? What are they doing about the road? What are running out? What are they doing about it? Are they planning to integrate to bring more into the road? Or annoying?
All right, we got your question. He is worried that no doubt the projects are laudable that Lamata is doing, but he's worried or concerned as to these buses that are now wearing out. That what is Lamata doing about that?
Well, you will recall that by the time when you started your news, you did mention that we've started to refurbish those vehicles. And of course, we've put a lot of plan in place to ensure that those buses are rehabilitated. We know to distant future, the majority of the buses will have been rehabilitated. Okay. And as I'm talking now, with the operators of the BRT are importing additional buses.
To reflect
the existing fleet.
All right.
And by the time that is done, honestly, you see a brand new BRT.
Okay.
Well, Kate, I'm sure our time is gone. We must go now, and we cannot take more calls. But I'm sure that that will be all for today from both of us, Kate and I.
Yes.
But then, last week you recall that we dropped some trivial questions on our Facebook page, and these are the 5 lucky winners of the loaded Lagos Connect card. Oluwole Oluwo Olushola Kende, Obiekeze Chukwemeka, Ogunoiki Jamiu Additional, Mabimi Olumayokun, and David Ofili. You've both won this loaded Lagos Connect card for yourself, and our quiz is still on, so you can still log on to our website, our Facebook page, www.facebook.com/LamataNG, and don't forget to like us, you know. And if you get the answers right, there is still a loaded Lagos Connect card coming your way. Well, from all of us, I want to say a big thank you.
Thank you so much.
We must say a big thank you to you.
Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Thank you. So until next week,
Lamata,
Think Transport.
Just Think Transport.